first record I find of hemp being used is in China, 10,000 BC. It was common in all types of daily life in early China up to 300 BC. Eventually it made its way to the West, and the Western countries adopted Chinese methods of making cordage and rope and fabric. Up until 1930, hemp was legal in the United States, and Kentucky, surprisingly, was our largest grower anywhere in the country. In early America, hemp was required to be grown by law. 1600s, when the Puritans landed in Massachusetts, they came on ships that were rigged with hemp rope and hemp sails. After the American Revolution, it was considered patriotic action to grow your own hemp. It did not depend on mother country England any longer. Farmers would move into Florida and the territories. There's no stores to buy rope, etc. They had to make their own. They brought hemp seeds with them, and in 120 days they harvested a crop of hemp. If you want to make cellulose from trees, you have to wait 2 to 4 years. About the same time that hemp became legal, marijuana, which is another form of hemp, was being introduced from Mexico. People were not able to separate the two plants from each other visually. The DEA had tried to ban all hemp in the country, period, because law enforcement wasn't able to tell the difference between high THC or marijuana and low THC hemp for industrial purposes. World War I and World War II, hemp became legal to grow again. In fact, the government asked many people to grow hemp. They gave you immunity from the illegalness of it because they needed the materials for war. So Kentucky was right back in the limelight again, growing hemp for a war effort, and it was considered your patriotic duty. If you had arable land that you could turn into hemp growth for the government, it was your duty to do it.
Historical uses have been for rope and textiles, but paper is actually one of the largest ones, and one of the most important, because there's some evidence to suggest that one of the reasons that hemp was made illegal in the United States in 1937 was the fact that you could produce 4 times as much fiber for making paper as for cutting down a forest. And so the people who were interested in cutting down forests didn't want that to happen, and that was one of the things that came forth.
There were many rumors of why hemp became illegal. Was not all of them related to it being a harmful drug or narcotic. Some people said that large producers of paper pulp and other chemicals, oil producers, thought that hemp would displace their product and tried to ban them. Hemp is confused with marijuana. That's one of the things that made it illegal.
In 1916, the Department of Agriculture of the United States said that if we did not restore industrial hemp to its level that had been before the Civil War, that we would see the end of our family farms and the end of our forests by the end of the 20th century. Now, here we are at the beginning of the 21st century. Almost all of our family farms are gone. Almost all of our forests are gone. It's exactly what the Department of Agriculture said.
Hemp is the single most used plant, with its highest use being for military purposes, even in the United States history.
The most important use of all is to use hemp to save the planet.